Hi there, everyone. Hope your Thursday is going well. King 5, Meteorologist Adam Claibon to talk about our system heading out of here. Some of you probably already seeing some of the sun breaks, but rain not completely done with this. We'll talk about where the best chances are, where we could see those snow levels drop even more, where eventually there could be some lowland snow again in the forecast over the next couple of days. Plus talk about all the snow that's still yet to come in the mountains with our convergence zone as that starts to get really ramped on up. First, what's happening outside right now? I told you there are some sun breaks out there. We're seeing them live right now in Seattle, and this is as of about 1 p.m. here on your Thursday afternoon. We'll continue to see that around from time to time, and I'm thinking a few more of us will start to see it, but in the mountains, that's where the action is going to be here for today. Snoqualmie Pass, not looking to be too terrible right now if you're driving across there later this afternoon. After the sun sets, I would say you might want to be a lot more careful, but here into the daytime hours, we look to be okay. Most of the highway right there looking to be fine. But Stevens Pass, a completely different story. Snow has been heavier here. We've seen colder air in place, and the highway there is completely covered by ice and snow. So take extra precaution if you're going to go over that way, and then also just maybe give yourself some extra time too. Now, Mount Rainier, looking up there at Paradise, this kind of shows you the streaks of snow that we have. The wind has been whipping around not only just in the lowlands, but also up across the mountains, and Westport starting to see a quick little shower move on through, but then you'll see some sun breaks here later on into the afternoon. And I wanted to show you this one more spot right here, Granite Falls, looking at the high school schoolnet site, and there's only a little patch of snow left behind from all that we had on the ground yesterday. All this moisture, though, has been great that we've seen here over the past few weeks, especially down into California. Latest drought monitor just released today shows less of those tan colors, less also of those orange colors. And California is starting to moisten up again. Drought conditions improving there. And for us, pretty much the same. We haven't seen much change from last week to this week. This just, again, released this morning, and don't really expect it to spread out anymore as we'll continue to stay active, but it's going to stay colder than normal too, even though we're going to see things probably dry out later on into next week. Now, our temperatures as you head out the door early here into the afternoon, mid to upper 40s, and there's a 50. Hey, Friday Harbor, how you doing? We got 50 degrees showing up for our temperature here as of about 1 p.m. Nice to see it. Port Angeles, you don't want to leave you out. You're at 50 degrees too. We don't expect all of us to hit the 50s today. We're going to get close, but I think we'll stay just shy again. And even though it's going to be at 50 degrees for that air temperature, it's not going to feel that way because winds are still around 10, 20, 25 miles per hour, which are bringing those wind chills into the upper 30s and the low 40s. So the forecast today, not a lot of rain really expected. I think we'll see a few showers from time to time, but highs mid to upper 40s, a few 50s, and then dropping back into the 30s later tonight with some slight chances of precipitation ahead for the evening hours, and then better chances coming in as we head on into the day for tomorrow. Now, I mentioned the chances of rain are going to be hit or miss for a lot of spots, seeing that over the Olympic Peninsula right now. Slightly higher chances, though, over into these parts, near and north of Seattle and right around Everett. In between those spots, that's the convergence zone, and that's what's been keeping things a lot more active here early this afternoon. And as you continue eastward, you head up into the mountains, and eventually that's where you see some of the heavier snow. So our view of Stevens Pass I just showed you earlier, that's why it was so snowy. So this system is heading on out of here. We still have additional waves of moisture to come, which are going to come off of the Pacific, and that's going to keep things active, and that will come from this direction, head up into our part of the woods, and yeah, eventually we're going to have to deal with some snow chances possibly here in the lowlands as those snow levels start to drop again. For this evening, chances, showers kind of here and there, still that convergence zone activity around, but most of it will be up into the mountains. We'll continue on into late tonight, 11:30, seeing some areas of sprinkles, maybe a few flurries with some of those heavier pockets of precipitation. Slightly better chances by tomorrow morning now as we're starting to see some additional moisture arrive. Now, as we go later on into tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to see this fill on in. So here we are at 12:30 on Friday, and that's where you start to see some of this coming back around for areas of South Sound over the Kitsap Peninsula and for Southwest Interior. That trend will be more the same as we head on into the evening hours, and with that cold air really in place, expect that snow to start to come back down to sea level, or at least closer to it. So around Hood Canal, getting over the Kitsap Peninsula, Southwest Interior, you're seeing quite a bit of snow at that point. Now, once we head into the nighttime hours, I think that will be the better chances of maybe seeing some of this accumulate. Throughout the daytime hours, I think it just melts for the most part as we go throughout the day, and no worries about any sort of impact on the roadways. Continuing on throughout Friday night into early Saturday, it's still around, and at this point, we're seeing temperatures cold enough that a lot of spots here now across Hood Canal, Kitsap Peninsula, southwest interior, maybe even clipping Olympia, will see some of that snow in place. Coming down, light accumulations expected with that at that point, and then we go later into Saturday afternoon, start to warm things up, and it's changing back over to rain as we go deeper on into the day, and eventually the moisture starts to really taper off, and we'll see that die on off as we head into Saturday night and into early Sunday. That doesn't mean, though, we're not expecting to see any accumulations. You can see that those favored areas, again, over the Kitsap Peninsula, Hood Canal, an inch to two possible because of what we're expecting Friday night into early Saturday. Everywhere else here that you see around Puget Sound, those tenths, 2/10, 3/10 of an inch of snow, it's going to be really hard to get anything to stick with that limited amount of snow in place, and temperatures going to be very marginal right around that freezing point as we head on into that time. But the mountains, yeah, they're still going to get slammed with snow, and where we keep that convergence zone, which is between Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass, and really more so up around Stevens Pass, an additional foot to 2. Still looking pretty good, too, as you go farther south around Snoqualmie Pass, a half a foot to a foot. Baker doing great there. Hurricane Ridge at 8 inches. Crystal at a foot, and then about 2 feet possible at White Pass. Forecast today, showers kind of hit or miss, but we'll be back up near the 50-degree mark. That will be nice. Anacortes 49, 47 in Blaine, seeing highs right around the mid to upper 40s farther to the south. Keep an eye out. Very limited instability. Could be a pop-up shower or storm here or there, but I think those chances are looking to be pretty low. Mid to upper 40s as you go farther to the south as well, and our forecast tonight drops us down into the 30s, really close to that freezing point, but mostly dry here in the lowlands, and then we'll continue on here on into Friday and Saturday, seeing chances of precipitation beginning to move back in. Rain and snow Friday night into early Saturday. Again, favored areas around Hood Canal and also the Kitsap Peninsula for some of those accumulations. But late into the weekend, Sunday and Monday, things are starting to dry on out, and eventually we'll go later on into next week, and you can see that we're seeing partly sunny skies and no worries about any snow or rain for that matter as we head on into the forecast there. So some improvements on the way. Again, we're going to keep temperatures much cooler than average, with highs still in the mid to upper 40s with that typical high at 52. So nowhere near that, at least at Seattle, but at least a few of you will start to see it this afternoon with a few 50s around. All right, everyone, enjoy the limited sunshine that we have today. Enjoy some of those 50s. We'll talk to you soon.